Hello and welcome to 3 Rail Steve. So in today's video I am extending the scenery outwards to the end of the actual board that it's supported on. I need some of this scenery to be detachable, so I'm using a piece of chipboard. You can see it sort of towards the bottom of the screen, which is not actually attached to the top of the table. And I'm building scenery on that, and I'm also kind of separating it from the scenery that already exists with some card partitions. And I'm hoping that this will mean that in the future, if I had to actually get to any of the wiring of the layout, I can sort of easily take it apart without causing too much damage. So I'm just actually gluing these bits in place, just using lots of scrap material that I have accumulated in the garage, especially as I've sort of recently moved. So I've got lots of blocks, random blocks of wood, pieces of cardboard boxes, and I'm trying to make full use of them to actually help me build up this portion of the layout. So the plan kind of is to complete sections scenically as I go along. So I'm just working sort of the far right hand of the layout as it exists at the moment, and I just want to get the topography of the scene correct. So you've got a road that crosses a level crossing, and in the real world it's the level crossing is kind of on a sort of raised hump, so the road gradually goes up to it and then falls away at the other side, which is useful because where it falls away at the other side you get a crest of the hill effect, which blends more seamlessly into the back scene. So I'm just trying to tidy away some of these wires so they're not quite so visible using this bit of movable scenery. I'm just going to try and tuck some behind or underneath. Some of these wires are a little bit on the long side, and I kind of do that deliberately, so I can actually, once they're in place, I can work out how long they need to be and shorten them accordingly. So you see this piece here, it is quite movable. I've got all the sort of the wires that come out the side of the layer, the sort of bits that power the track. So just going to slide that back in again and carry on working on it. So here we are. It's a prime example of a piece of wire that I originally fitted, and it's way too long, so I'm just going to shorten it slightly. Just get rid of that little bit of excess wire and reattach it to where it needs to be reattached. I'm just stripping the end of the wire, usual thing, pair of wire strippers, and then I'm also putting some actual little plastic joiners that you use for sort of building chipboard furniture. I can just use these to tuck the wire behind to keep it all nice and tidy. So just screwing that into the actual bottom of the layer at the top of this unit I've built over in the corner. The unit's actually made out of an old wardrobe that I inherited when I moved into the house, and I've shortened it and turned it into this base unit. So another piece of wood is going on top, just gluing that in place, and just gradually building it all up. So the section I was working on just now, nearest the camera, on to the sort of middle left of the picture, that's going to be sort of fully removable. But this piece that I'm putting in now is actually more attached to the baseboard. I'm just going to use smaller little sections of removable material, which I'll make out of DAS modelling clay, so I can access point motors. So I'm just going in with some more layers of actual cardboard boxes this time. So I'm just going to gradually build up this side. So this is still attached to the piece that's removable. So I'm trying to have I need this sort of contour, this road to slope downwards towards me. So I'm just cutting bits of cards to size and gluing them in place. So I mainly either use wood glue or just some sort of PVA I get from a craft store. Obviously the wood glue is quite a bit stronger than normal PVA, so it's quite useful sort of for building things up that are structural, and probably for things that are less structural, I'll probably just use a cheaper PVA you get from a Hobbycraft or somewhere like that. So yeah, as you can see, it's just been gradually built up. So I'm just using this piece of wood that I've cut to shape, just to fill in this last section of this bit that's removable. Just glue that into place. Just really just sort of build up the height a bit, really. So that's all good. So now I've just cut some artboard, or some nice card, just to finish the side of the layer to make it look a bit more neat and tidy. It does look a little bit scrappy at the moment, unfortunately, but I'm sure that will improve once I've painted this up. So I'm just cutting this final piece to finish off this section, and I'm actually going to use, or I am using super glue to glue it in place, because obviously I can just hold it against the layer and it will just stay there. If I use PVA, it'll probably just fall off, and I have tried that, it's not quite so successful. So yeah, just glue that into position. So now I need to create the contours of the landscape using this card that I've got from some scrap cardboard boxes. If you look at the right of the picture, you can see ones that I've actually already put in. So sort of create this kind of hump effect. The actual railway line is on a sort of an embankment if you actually walk along it, full of trees. So this is sort of the initial stages of getting this shape to look right. So I'm just gluing in these little sections of card, just cuts a shape. So I want it to fall away to the back seam, as you can see. So that's kind of how I want it. So the next stage, you can sort of see it finished there. So the next stage is to put in sort of bits that are going in the other direction. So I'm just using what's already there to measure. So I'm just going to slot in some more card. So I'm just push it in and snip the scissors to work out where the contour should be, and then just cut it accordingly. So you can use tons of glue. I'm just using cheap PVA glue here, and the main thing is you want it just to stick really well. No one's going to see it because it's all going to be covered up with scenery, with all the next layers that I'm going to place on top. So I'm now going to cover it with thinner card, which is from these old pasta block boxes, and this will just kind of smooth it all out and give a good surface for the next layers that need to go on top. So just do all that. You can see where I've used the DAS modelling clay in sections where I actually want to remove it. DAS is very handy because it doesn't, unless you wet it, it doesn't really stick to the things around it, so you can just mould it to shape. If you want it to stick, then obviously you can just wet it, or even just glue it into position once you've got it shaped up. For me, this is kind of important because I need to be able to access my little servo point motors, because they've got a signal, and there is also a set of points. So now I'm just putting on the papier-mâché layer, which is obviously just newspaper soaked in PVA glue,
Once it's down, and maybe put another layer of PVA glue on top of it just to give it some extra strength. And see, it's gradually all taking shape. So just using a paintbrush, just apply more glue. Papier-mâché is quite a strong material, but we're going to put another layer of another material on top of this in a second. So you can see me just fixing the DAS modelling clay, which is an air dry clay, to sections that I want to be able to remove. It's all quite near a point motor, which is just sort of under my arm at the moment. So yeah, it's looking okay. You have to remember all this will be covered in trees and foliage, so you won't really be able to see it that well. So it's kind of more important that it's removable than it looks totally realistic. Just pop it back in place, and the air dry clay will dry nice and hard. So it's quite a useful thing to have. It's also useful for things like where I've made the level crossing. It's handy to, you can actually sort of put it in between the rails. I used extra bits of rails to sort of separate it, but I've used it to sort of create a road surface on where the road crosses the railway. If you do want the DAS to stick, then you could just, like I've done here, just use a bit of PVA glue, or if you really wet it, it will stick as well. That's quite handy in that respect. It's quite an adaptable material. So I'm just going to glue all this stuff down. Some more papier-mâché going on here. And I'm creating pavements using a bit of cork. I don't see that at the bottom of the picture. So I just need to carry this pavement around. I'm also making some walls. So I'm just using thin bits of card, which I'm gluing into shape, into place, sorry, and also maybe supporting it with a bit of modelling clay. So I'll just stick that final piece in place. There we go. And so I have got reference. I've got a laptop to my left, and I do just a little travel along the layer a little bit, and then you can see what we've done so far. Straighten that wall up, and just go over to my laptop. You can see on the screen I've got some very handy pictures of the scene that we're modelling. It's probably taken about the 1950s. You just flick through the pictures. There's one particular picture, that one, which is really useful. It has all the elements in it that I need to model. So just gradually going to do that. And this is all my train stock up on the shelf. I'm mainly showing you this because in one of the later stages we'll be doing some spraying using some cans of spray. So all that has to be put away. This needs to be put in drawers well away from the action, as it were. In fact, anything in the garage you don't want spray paint on, I would recommend you stick it outside, because it does get absolutely everywhere. So the next step is to coat it in fix and grout. This is what it's quite handy material. I guess because you use it in bathrooms, it's fairly waterproof and probably not prone to cracking. I know this is not exactly what it's designed for, but it seems to work quite well. I've used it before. I'm not too bothered about where the joins are on the scenery now, because I can always split them later with a craft knife if I need to. Although really I just don't want to see any joins. So if I need to take the layer apart again, or obviously this layer will get damaged, but it's fairly easy to repair, so I'm not too bothered about that. All the bits underneath are still detachable, which is kind of more important. I'm just smoothing it all down with a paintbrush just to get rid of all the lumps and bumps, and hopefully that will look, when it's dry, will look really good. There we go, that's looking pretty nice. I quite like that. See where the air dry clay is the grey. Now I've got a section just down, I'm just looking at the road surface, which is way too bumpy. It doesn't transition properly. So what I need to do is to get some, use the air dry clay again. This time we're going to use a lot of water so it does actually properly stick to the surface. So I'm just going to sort of mould some into the road surface and try and get rid of as many of these bumps as possible. And also that the curb in the pavement to my right is not looking particularly good. So I'll probably do a little bit of work on that as well. Just going to, wet your finger and then you can just smooth it in. And you should end up with something that looks vaguely like a road. Anyway, that's the plan. So I'm just going to just sort this corner out a minute. So I'm just going to try and sort this pavement out. So just fill that in a little bit. I've got a clay modelling tool that I'll just use just to smooth it down because it needs to be a sort of a nice curve going around there, and that looks so much better. So I'm just going to move on to the walls now. So I'm just coating them in the nice wet DAS modelling clay. Again, you can use this clay sculpture tool. I'm not sure what you call it. So it's got a nice flat end on one side, and on the other end it's got a nice point. So just get that all into place to just get the shape of the wall going on. And then we need to do the top of the wall. So I'm going to go in with a craft knife just to cut some slits in the top. So this creates the coping stones that finish off the wall. So just cutting into the card through the clay, because I don't want the wall to be too tall, because it's not a tall wall. So it's got to try and keep it looking in scale and what's going on around it, like the height of the level crossing gates, etc. So now I've done that, it's a question of just scribing it in, getting it looking good. So I'm just going to emphasise those cuts that I put in, and also start carving in some actual stones. So I'm just moving over to this piece now, so I'm doing the same thing again. So it's just a question of applying some wet clay, carving it, cutting the shapes of the coping stones out the top, and you should end up with something that looks very much like a dry stone wall. So that's all looking pretty good. So just going to finish off these walls, and then I'm going to put all the elements of the scene back, like the signal box and the house and the level crossing gates. I'm just going to try and run a few locomotives through the scene just to see what it looks like. Here we go. So in the next episode, we'll move on to some more sort of painting. But for now, I'll just leave you with a few still shots of the work we've done today. And I'll just say thank you for watching 3 Raw Steve, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.